Imagine this. It's 2011, and biochemist Jennifer Doudna is studying how bacteria defend themselves against viruses. She's fascinated by this weird molecular system called CRISPR, clusters of DNA sequences that bacteria use as a kind of genetic memory bank, storing information about past viral attacks. Most scientists saw this as an interesting quirk of bacterial immunity. But Doudna and her colleague Emmanuelle Charpentier had a wild thought. What if this bacterial defense system could be reprogrammed? What if, instead of just recognizing and cutting viral DNA, it could be trained to find and edit any specific sequence in any genome, like a molecular word processor with search and replace function? It was an audacious leap of imagination, taking nature's ancient antiviral system and reimagining it as the ultimate precision tool for genetic engineering. By 2013, their vision became reality. CRISPR-Cas9 can now edit genes with unprecedented precision, potentially curing genetic diseases, improving crops, and reshaping medicine as we know it. This story perfectly captures something we're grappling with today. As artificial intelligence becomes incredibly sophisticated at pattern recognition and optimization, can it truly make the kind of imaginative leaps that transform scientific curiosity into world-changing inventions? Today, on Imagine IP, we explore why human imagination might still be our secret weapon in a world increasingly dominated by algorithms.
Let's start with some definitions, because these words get thrown around a lot. Imagination is our ability to form mental images and concepts that aren't physically present, to see what doesn't yet exist. It's the what if that pops into your head in the shower, the wild idea that seems impossible until it isn't. Invention, on the other hand, is the practical manifestation of imagination, creating something new that solves a problem or serves a purpose we didn't even know we had. The magic happens at their intersection. Imagination provides the vision, the spark, the audacious question. Invention provides the execution, the testing, the real-world application. Think about Nikola Tesla visualizing entire electrical systems in his mind before building them, or Steve Jobs imagining computers not as calculating machines for engineers, but as bicycles for the mind, tools that could amplify human intelligence for everyone. These weren't just technical innovations, they were imagination made manifest.
So what makes human imagination so special? Recent research has identified 3 key areas where humans consistently outperform AI systems. First, we're extraordinary at cross-domain leaping. Humans excel at connecting completely unrelated fields in ways that seem obvious only in hindsight. Take biomimicry. We invented Velcro by studying how burr seeds stick to animal fur, created more efficient wind turbines by mimicking whale fins, and developed better adhesives by understanding how geckos walk on walls. AI systems, despite their sophistication, typically operate within defined parameters and training domains. They're phenomenal at finding patterns within their datasets, but struggle to make those wild leaps between completely different fields of knowledge. The research confirms this. AI tends to generate incrementally new ideas that improve on existing concepts, but struggles with the radical departures that create entirely new categories. Second, human imagination is fueled by emotion and lived experience in ways that fundamentally drive invention. Some of our most important innovations come from deeply personal frustration or wonder. The father who invented wheelchair-accessible playground equipment because he watched his daughter struggle to play with other kids. The engineer who created noise-canceling headphones because airplane engines gave him headaches. These inventors weren't solving abstract problems, they were solving their problems, driven by genuine emotional investment. AI might identify that a problem exists, but it lacks that visceral, personal motivation that pushes humans to persist through countless failures. Third, humans embrace what is sometimes called basic research. We pursue curiosity without clear utility, following interesting threads just because they're interesting. Think about the scientists who spent decades studying quantum mechanics only to later enable computers, lasers, and MRI machines, or mathematicians developing abstract number theory that eventually secured our internet communications. This pure research mindset, exploring without a clear destination, is fundamentally different from AI's optimization-focused approach. AI is designed to find efficient solutions to defined problems, but breakthrough inventions often come from wandering into territories that initially seem irrelevant.
Which brings us to why AI, despite its incredible capabilities, might struggle with the kind of broad, inventive solutions that imagination drives. and we now have fascinating research evidence to support this. The first issue is what I call the pattern recognition versus pattern breaking problem. AI excels at finding patterns in existing data. That's literally what machine learning does. It identifies correlations, optimizes processes, and predicts outcomes based on historical information. But true invention often requires breaking established patterns entirely. When the first automobiles were developed, they weren't improvements on horse-drawn transportation. They were a complete departure from everything people understood about getting from point A to point B. An AI system trained on transportation data from 1880 would have optimized for faster horses, not horseless carriages. Studies published in Nature Human Behavior reveal exactly this limitation in action. Researchers found that while ChatGPT made individual ideas more creative, it dramatically reduced the diversity of ideas generated. In one striking example, when people used ChatGPT to brainstorm uses for a tennis racket and garden hose, 20 out of 96 AI-assisted ideas included the word sprinkler, compared to only 7 ideas from web searches and 12 from humans alone. The AI was pattern matching its way to the same solution over and over. Then there's what I call the serendipity problem. Many of our most important inventions emerged from happy accidents and unplanned discoveries. Alexander Fleming discovered penicillin because he accidentally left a bacterial culture uncovered and mold contaminated it. The microwave oven was invented when Percy Spencer noticed that radar waves melted the chocolate bar in his pocket. AI's systematic, methodical approach is designed to minimize randomness and accidents. But sometimes those productive failures are exactly what lead to breakthrough innovations. The research showed that AI is particularly good at generating what scientists call incrementally new ideas, improvements on what exists, but struggles with radically new concepts that break entirely new ground. Finally, there's how constraints function as creative catalysts. Humans often invent because of limitations, not despite them. Resource scarcity has driven incredible innovation, from the ultra-efficient cars developed in countries with expensive fuel to the frugal innovations emerging from developing nations that do more with less. When humans face constraints, we get creative. We find workarounds, we repurpose materials, we think sideways. AI might simply optimize within those constraints rather than transcending them in unexpected ways.
Now, just in case our future AI overlords are listening, I don't want to dismiss AI's remarkable capabilities. The research I mentioned actually confirmed that AI is extraordinary at enhancing individual creativity. People using ChatGPT consistently generated more creative ideas than those working alone or using traditional web searches. AI excels at rapid iteration, processing vast amounts of data, and combining remote concepts in ways that feel genuinely creative. But here's the nuance that researchers have discovered. There's a crucial difference between individual creativity and collective innovation. While AI makes each person more creative, it may actually reduce the diversity of ideas across a group. And diversity is often what drives breakthrough innovations. The real opportunity might not be AI replacing human imagination, but amplifying it in the right contexts. The studies suggest AI is particularly powerful for individual creative tasks, like repurposing household items or designing products, where the goal is to think beyond conventional uses. But for breakthrough innovations that require radical departures from existing patterns, human imagination remains irreplaceable. The sweet spot isn't human versus machine, but understanding when to leverage each approach. Human imagination setting the direction, asking the wild what-if questions, making those cross-domain leaps, pursuing those seemingly useless paths, while AI accelerates the execution, testing, and optimization phases.
The research we discussed today reveals something profound. In our rush to automate everything, we shouldn't underestimate the irreplaceable value of human curiosity, play, and imagination. While AI can make us individually more creative, it's human imagination that generates the wild diversity of ideas needed for true breakthroughs. The next breakthrough invention might come from someone daydreaming, someone frustrated by a daily annoyance, someone making a seemingly ridiculous connection between two unrelated ideas, the kind of diverse, unpredictable thinking that recent studies show AI struggles to replicate at scale. So here's my challenge for you. The next time you have a wild, seemingly impractical idea, the kind that makes you think, that's crazy, it would never work, remember,
That's exactly the kind of thinking that has changed the world throughout history. And perhaps more importantly, that's the kind of thinking we need to preserve and cultivate, even as we learn to work alongside increasingly sophisticated AI. Because in a world of algorithms optimizing for patterns, imagination remains our most human superpower. And that power to envision what doesn't yet exist, to break patterns rather than perfect them, to stumble upon solutions that no systematic search would find, that's something no amount of processing power can replicate. Thanks for listening, and keep imagining.